Welcome into the newest edition of the Frostburg Sports Awards, and I'm here with Emily Weekly, who is our Female Athlete of the Week after she had a pair of double-doubles as women's basketball went 1-1 in their Jim Crawley Conference Challenge. Emily, your first couple of games here at the collegiate level, getting the team's first win of the year. How would you rate your performance and the team's performances?
I thought that our first game was kind of definitely like an intro game. I thought we all definitely played hard and we're still getting used to playing together. It's a new team, new coach, new environment. But I definitely thought that the second game we really amped up our game as a whole, and that allowed us to win by 20 points against Shepherd. But it definitely felt good, and I thought that our team chemistry was there on the court, and I had fun. I thought it was awesome. So
you also kind of balled out in a sense of getting the double-double, 20 points plus and 11 rebounds. Going into that, knowing that you were going to start that game in your first collegiate game, were there any nerves or excitement, or what were some of the mental emotions you were going through right before that game started?
Oh, absolutely. It was a mix of both, but I always get nervous. I feel like the nerves, they help me focus. But as soon as the tip-off comes, I don't even think about it. It's like I'm focused on one thing and one thing only, and I'm not thinking about anything else. So it was definitely nerves and excitement. I think it was more excitement, but definitely a mix of both.
And in the second game, in the win against Shepherd, you did get yourself in a little bit of early foul trouble after scoring quite a few points in the first quarter, but picking up 2 early fouls. What was the message from your head coach, Jenna, about playing through some of that adversity and just being maybe a little bit smarter in your defense and working back to not get that foul trouble in the second half?
So it was those type of fouls were the same dumb fouls that I used to get in high school. So it's an adjustment. New refs, of course, I think the Mountain East refs are a little more touchy. So just knowing when to ball pressure and when to put my hands in as opposed to when not to. So definitely being smarter. She's talked to me about not picking up silly fouls like that, and just being more aware of where I'm at and how much time is on the shot clock. So it's something that I'm still learning and adjusting to. But I knew as soon as I got those 2 that I didn't want to sit on the bench because of foul trouble. So I definitely had to be smarter. So I was thinking more about playing smarter and when to reach and when to do certain things as opposed to when not to. So that's what I was thinking about after I got in that early foul trouble. So I think that helped me. Not get any more.
In the game, I noticed that this team really has a togetherness, and you mentioned about the camaraderie and the togetherness that you guys have when you're on the court. During the 20-point win, it was everyone was supporting one another, and it was never, it's all about me or everyone sharing the ball. And, what has been the process with you coming in as a new player from some of the experienced players with Jenna and Marley and the coaching staff of getting everyone on the same page and being so well-rounded as a team?
I feel like that's something that Coach Marley and Coach Eck have really done a great job about. So of course the majority of the players from last year, they had a different coach. So just coming in, 2 new coaches, it's different. It's a different environment. I mean, they're two different coaches. They allow different things. So I feel like Coach Marley and Coach Eck coming in, they've really brought us together. And the team has just been very accepting. So they accept everyone. I mean, when I came on my visit, one of the first things they said was, we don't have any drama. Like, we may get aggravated with each other on the court, but outside, we don't even talk about it. And that's true. Like, they definitely told the truth when they said that, because we all get along so well. I mean, I think we're one of the only girls sports teams who really does not have drama. So I feel like that shows on the court as well, and everybody's just trying to help each other. So if somebody says something to you or you say something to somebody else, it's always in a productive manner. So they're never trying to beat you down. It's always in trying to help the team build and grow.
Well, Emily, thank you for coming on today to talk to us. We want to congratulate you on the week that you had. Hopefully some more double-doubles throughout the season as well, but congrats as well on getting your first win, and thank you for coming to talk to us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, well, next up we'll have Emily's coach, Jenna Eckelberry, as our Coach of the Week, so be sure to stay tuned for her as well. We are back on the Frostburg Sports Awards with Jenna Eckelberry, who's our Coach of the Week after leading women's basketball to their first win of the season. Coach, first tough loss against Pitt Johnstown, but then a 20-point win over Shepherd and getting your first career coaching victory here at Frostburg. How would you kind of rate your team's performances over the weekend?
I was very proud of the girls. One thing that they're going to do is give me their all. And, I told them after the loss on Friday night that, we weren't going to play a perfect game. The first game of the season, we're always going to be having, certain turnovers and stuff like that, but they never stopped believing. When there was a timeout with 4 minutes to go, I think we were down 9, and I saw them kind of hang their heads, and I was like, if you guys don't believe we can win, then, just tell me now, and I'll put somebody else in. And they all looked at me and said, we're winning this game, Coach. Obviously, we didn't win the game, but, their fight, their grit, their intensity, their energy on defense, everything was there. And, UPJ is a very, very well-disciplined, very good, strong PSAC team. And we kind of made the same mistakes a couple times throughout the games, and I said that's just stuff that we have to learn from. And we bounced back and played one heck of a game on Saturday.
In that loss against UPJ, you mentioned such a talented team that they have where they can really run 1 through 5 and kind of guard anyone, and they run a pretty unique offense in their own style. It seemed like that was the type of game where you kind of leaned on it, where it was a learning experience for a lot of these players who are, learning a new coaching staff and a new system of offense and defense. What were some of those takeaways that you kind of gave from that first game where, you expect to win every game, but sometimes you've got to learn to deal with the losses as well?
Yeah, the thing of it is that we knew what they were going to try to do on offense and post some of our smaller guards up. And, we would start bumping the cutter and try to get help and stuff like that. And that's some things that we haven't been working on very much. But I told them that, if they buy into the scout and do everything that on that scout, we're going to beat teams just because of their IQ and buying into this is the best scout that we could do. But one of the things is taking care of the ball. We struggled with that in the preseason, and I thought we did a great job with that. And then you turn around on Saturday, and we only had 4 points. But we forced a lot of turnovers on Friday, but we didn't score off of them. And then turn around on Saturday. So that's some of the things that we kind of emphasized Saturday after the game. Like some of the things we didn't do good, Frostburg women's basketball, that we're going to do this year, running the floor, converting on opportunities. We didn't necessarily do that on Friday, but the next game we did. And we just got to learn from each game and move on and buy into the system.
One player specifically that we wanted to highlight in our Athlete of the Week that we just interviewed, Emily, where we watched her play, and there's going to be some freshman moments that she has, and, not everything is going to run smoothly, but her motor and energy just kind of radiates around the team where she's always hustling, whether she's on offense or defense, always willing to run the floor on a turnover and help out whoever got the steal. And it spoke to, a pair of double-doubles in her first 2 collegiate games where, her kind of on-court leadership is sort of by example.
Yeah, and that's M. I knew what we were getting when we got M, and I'm so proud of her. Like, what a way to start her freshman year. Like 2 double-doubles, but, that's one thing. She's so versatile. So when she rebounds and she rebounds well, she just takes it the full length of the court. And she isn't one that's going to go into the defense and get a charge. She knows how to make moves around the basket to get fouled, and, she can shoot, so she makes her free throws. So, but she's constantly going, and she's like that every single day in practice, and she's like that on defense too. So it makes a big difference where she's trying and rebounding and doing all those hustle plays on defense and on offense as well.
In the win against Shepherd was your first game at your former employer, where you spent a good number of years there and led a few successful teams. Was it any kind of a bittersweet moment of beating your former team, but knowing that this is the future and where you're at now in terms of seeing some of your former players, but knowing that this has got to be your new stop and focusing on the players you've got at hand now?
Yeah, yes and no. It was definitely bittersweet. Like I said, I'll never forget my time at Shepherd. Like, it was a great 8 years, and it was my start of my head coaching career. But, when I made that decision in May to come here, and it's been all in on Frostburg State and this program, and now I want to be here for the rest of my coaching career here. So, but it was nice, but more importantly, I just wanted the girls to bounce back and believe and know that we have a good team and they're good players and we can compete and win a lot of ball games if we just stick together and have that energy that we're talking about. So more importantly, I was just happy it was our first win, my first win here of hopefully many, more than who we were playing.
Wanted to talk about as well some of the returning players in Rihanna Hall, Shelby Funches, Sierra Thomas, Hartley Herndon, just to name a few that kind of stood out in their own ways of, Ree kind of went off for 18 points and, surprised a good number of us with the shots that she was making and taking the aggressiveness. Cece and Shelby both on the defensive end. Cece had 4 steals and Shelby 3 blocks. Harley just kind of that team leader, always motivating one another. And there seems to be a real togetherness, and we talked with Emily about that, of kind of a culture that you and your assistant coach Marley have brought to this team.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. Everyone's just as important as number 1 or number 15 on our team, and they're all going to get their shot. But I think that goes back to practice and how competitive it is and their closeness. And everybody just wants the other person to succeed. Like even Liv, when she got in the game and got that and one, like that was the most energy on the bench that we've seen. And it just because she works so hard every single day in practice, and no one cares who gets the credit. And it just is cool to see. And I hope that this is a start of this many, many times, and if we lose a game, we can bounce back, but hopefully we don't lose too many more games. But I was just so proud of everybody and their work ethic, and Cece, she's just one of a kind. Like, she started a lot in the last 2 years, and, she might have been a starter here and all that, but that energy that she can bring off the bench and know that she can be our best defender out there. And I think the most proud I was is the way we shared the ball. Cece made me think of it. She had that nice bounce. She went through, kept dribbling between her legs and all that, and then made a nice bounce pass to Ree. Ree had a nice pass to M. Ari had a nice pass to M. Like, we just moved the ball, and we had a lot in assist, and, everybody got involved, and it wasn't just like, let's stand and watch a one-on-one move, or, okay, I haven't shot in 5 times, so it's my turn to take a shot. So it was very, very good for them to see what happens when we do play together, and we take care of the ball and share the ball.
Well, thank you, Coach, for coming on today to talk to us. Congratulations on your first FSU win. We're hoping to see more throughout the year, but we want to thank you for taking the time to come and talk to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your support.
All right, well, next up we will have our Male Athlete of the Week, Luke Freeman, to wrap up this interview. Wrapping up the Frostburg Sports Awards this week is Luke Freeman, our Male Athlete of the Week from football, as he had a big game in football's 28-23 win over West Liberty. Luke, the final game of your Frostburg career here, ending it with a win on a high note. How was the weekend for you and the team as a whole?
I thought it was bittersweet to end it that way. I was glad it was a closer game than I would like, but that's just how it goes sometimes. But I think us as a team was happy to finish out 4-0 after the loss to Wheeling, and just being able to rally the team together to be able to do that. And I think we're all pretty happy on how it ended.
Now in this season, finishing 8-3. During your career here, we've never won less than 8 games in a season, and it's shown the growth of this program from kind of those mid-2000 years into becoming a contender both in the region and nationally at times at the D3 level, and trying to build towards the future. What has it meant to you to have just such successful teams throughout your entire career here?
I think it's meant a lot to me, but I think a lot of the success that was paved the way came from people that set the culture before us, and then, just getting here and learning about the culture from the older guys, and just really getting behind that, and getting a whole group behind that. And I think it was important because every year we had a standard, and we didn't want to not live up to that standard. So every year it was kind of like motivation to meet that standard. Even when we went to D2, that standard didn't change. We proved ourselves in D3, and it was time to prove ourselves in D2. And I've been thinking we've definitely done that so far.
Now, in the game specifically, you had one of the biggest plays and one that kind of blew up on social media where you had a strip sack and fumble recovery in the end zone with, the team having to punt and then getting them down there. When you were looking at that and I looked at the play of you kind of got that inside move and you immediately saw the quarterback, was it immediately in your mind that you were going to go after the football and try to get it, or were you kind of looking for the sack and it just was happenstance that you got the ball?
Well, I saw him looking at receivers downfield, and he didn't even see me coming towards him, so I saw the ball right there, so I was like, might as well try to get both. And then when I hit him, it didn't really knock me over, so I saw the ball just laying in the end zone, and I was like, oh my gosh. like that's perfect. And I just fell on it, and I was like, man, that's a good way to go out. Last game of my career doing that. I thought it was pretty neat.
And your second career touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, with the pick six last year against Kentucky Wesleyan. One of your teammates that I wanted to focus on, Yasir Holmes, who has dealt with a lot of injury problems throughout his career and finally got a full season to show what he's got, really came on at the end of the year and tied with you with top 5 in the conference in sacks this year, the both of you. Obviously, last year you played with an All-American in Carl Igwe, who's got his own accolades and, was the leading, leader in the country in sacks. But Yasir kind of brings a different element, and the two of you kind of played off each other pretty nicely here in the last month or so. What was, it like playing with him on the other side of the ed?
I like you said, I think we fed off each other. It was he moved to that position when he got in here last year as a freshman. Now he's a redshirt freshman, and I think he really works his butt off. He's able to come in every day and just put his head down and work. He's really a student of the game as well. He watches a lot of film. It was nice to play with him this year, and I was able to lead him and try to coach him up on some things. And playing with him this year was really fun. And he brings a lot of different things to the table, a lot more speed, and used his speed to power. And I think here in the future, he will definitely be making a name for himself in this conference and, as this program keeps going.
Looking at your career in a whole in this last game, you entered into the top 10 in career program sacks and also tied the record with Carl, your good buddy, in forced fumbles for a career. Has it, kind of hit you yet that, how much of an impact you've made on this program in terms of career numbers, or, you're still trying to just, enjoy your life every one day at a time?
It hasn't really hit me yet, but I'm sure as I make my way out of Frostburg and I get to reminiscing, I'll definitely be able to, it'll hit me a lot more. But, being informed that, I know now I'll be able to, it's starting to hit me a little bit now, which I think is neat. Never really, going into college, you're just happy to get on the field. So to be able to make an impact for a successful program, it really means a lot to me.
Well, Luke, thank you for coming on today to come and talk to us. Congratulations on the game that you had and for your entire Frostburg career here. We're sad to see you go, but certainly excited for what you'll bring to yourself for the future, and congratulations once again.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, well, that does it for this week. We will be back next week, maybe with some different content. We'll see what we're doing, but thank you for tuning in, and as always, go Bobcats.